glad that joy has come up so many times in tonight's Elevate so far, because this is actually what I want to talk about tonight. This morning, after doing my meditation and prayer and positive intelligence work, and doing an additional meditation from the intergenerational money reset class that I'm doing with Brenda St. Louis from our community, which the first class was so good. So I thought I want to do this meditation again, and she extended it, so there's a little bit more time to kind of like just open up to the infinite possibilities and the information that's available in the field. And so I was doing that, and there was some stuff that was coming up for me. I was a little surprised. I mean, it was good that I was surprised. But there was stuff that wasn't just coming about money. It was coming up about money and food. And for whatever reason, I ended up going to Facebook for just a moment. It's not something that I normally do in the morning. And the thing that was right there at the forefront was this older Deepak Chopra video from decades ago, where he was talking about some kind of experiment that was done with rabbits where they were fed junk food. And what they found was that even though all the rabbits received this, I don't know why they were doing this, they didn't get into that, but they all received junk food. And even though it was kind of toxic to the rabbits, there was one technician who, as he fed a certain group of rabbits, would love them up. He would stroke them and cuddle them and tell them how amazing they were, and those were the rabbits that thrived. And so the whole point of this tiny little snippet by Deepak Chopra was choose consciousness, choose joy. Because this one technician just showered these little tiny bunnies with joy, and it didn't matter what they were actually consuming, they were receiving joy, and it was amplifying the joy that was already within them. So I thought that was such a nice way to start the day, right? And so this took me back to yesterday evening, where Glenn and I were in our Tuesday night weekly Noticing Ninjas group that we've been in for about a year and a half with some friends of ours from California. And so there was a lot of celebration happening last night, a lot of milestones that were being talked about, a lot of wins, a lot of stuff that was going well. And one of the things that was also being talked about was tonight, like at this time right now in Los Angeles and in other parts of the States online, there are year one spiritual practitioner students who are writing their final exam. And we have two of them in our Noticing Ninjas class, or Ninjas class group. And so they're kind of nervous, but they're also trusting and knowing that they have whatever it is that they need to know in them. And then there are those of us who already sort of sailed through that part of our journey, that they're there to support them and are there to remind them that yes, they do. And the mind that's taking the exam is the same mind that wrote the exam, because there's only one mind. So if you ever get stuck on something, don't leave it blank. You know, give yourself the opportunity to just open up and listen and tune in, and then just receive whatever it is that is ready to be realized, right? And so there was so much joy that was coming up in this session that we had yesterday. And one of the things that I was super excited to share is, and I can't remember if I've talked about this from this stage yet or not, but every year at tax time, I get behind. And every year, even though I'm a little bit further ahead than I was last year, I missed the April 30th deadline, which is okay because I have a business and I have until the end of June to submit. And so then June comes along, I've had these file folders on my floor, I've had them on a table, I've had them lined up, I've had them opened up, I've had them in all sorts of ways, beckoning me to deal with them. And this is like the biggest procrastination thing for me, the biggest resistance thing for me. I just don't want to do them. But I have to do them because there's no one else who can do them. And then I submit them to the bookkeeper does her thing, and then it goes to Toronto to our accountant that we've been dealing with for over 30 years. I don't want to deal with someone here, so we still send it to Toronto, and then he works his magic, and then, you know, we receive these refunds, which is great. So that's another reason that I kind of delay, because I know I don't have to pay any penalties. So here we are again in June, right? And here we are again with these folders and all this information and all of these sheets. And so I finally sat down yesterday during about 7 hours where Brentwood Bay didn't have any electricity. And I thought, oh, that's okay. I'll just like be really smart and really efficient with my computer usage, and I will only print out what I have to. I'll use my phone as a hotspot, so I'll be able to have internet that way. Well, for whatever reason, the hotspot thing wasn't really working out. But it also, like, it didn't occur to me that, oh, there's no power. The printer can't print anything. Right? It doesn't matter if there's internet or not. There's no power going to the printer. So, okay, fine. So I'm like, that's okay. I'll make folders and I'll just PDF everything and put it in there, and then I'll know what I have to print out. Well, because it wasn't working hotspot-wise, I ended up having to do old school, right? Just like write these little things by hand, which ended up being super cool because I was telling the ninjas what I wanted to do this year on the heels of this quantum habits class that Glenn and I just finished, is I want to create a new system, a system that works for me rather than against me, right? And so I thought I want to have all of my files open with everything in the same order, and then I can see which receipts are missing from which monthly folders. Well, that's a lot of files to have open on the floor. It's a lot of stuff to be looking at the same time. So what ended up happening is I was writing these little notes out by hand. All the file folders are closed now, and there's just a little sheet of paper on the front of each one that lists, maybe 2, maybe 6, maybe 5, whatever, invoices or receipts that I need to print out. So much easier to look at than all of these open 12 folders, right? So I worked very diligently on this yesterday, and I got to the point where I had 5 left. I was so excited. So I shared this, and everybody was cheering, and at one point, the bookkeeper in the group is like, Lesia, have you ever thought about just doing your folders at the end of the month? Yes, I have. Okay? That's it. All right, so here we are, okay? So I did another, so what happened today was as I was coming home from the gym, I thought, okay, I know I have Elevate prep I have to do, but I'm going to do one more folder, and I'm going to answer a question on my doctorate exam, because I need to get that done before the end of this month if I want to get that degree this year. So even though Elevate work is a priority, I'm going to do this because it's going to feel good. It's going to, get rid of some of that sort of niggliness of like, this is hanging out in the atmosphere, why aren't you doing it sort of thing. And I feel like it's going to bring me some joy, not just relief, but bring me some joy. And oh my gosh, did it ever, right? So I finished another folder and I did a question and it was like, yay, fantastic. And then I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, I only have 4 hours left before Elevate and I haven't even started. And so because of this quantum habits class and because of this year-long relaxed money program that is all about regulating the nervous system so that you can get a handle on your relationship with money, I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at one of my super fun, cute little videos, and I'm going to bring some joy into my life, right? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole of like, oh my God, I don't have enough time. I'm going to like get into a different frame of mind, into a different state of being. So I put on this video that Glenn sent me, and I'm actually going to play it at the end of my talk today because it is so incredibly cute and powerful and inspirational. But I played it about 3 times. It made me laugh. I felt so good. And then I'm like, okay, here we go. Email, done, like super inspired. And then doing all the slides and, stuff coming up for my talk. And I'm thinking, wow, this joy thing, like there's something to this, right? We talk about love here a lot, but joy, we don't talk about joy more. And so I turned to the right, and on my wall, there's a David Hawkins map of consciousness. Joy is above love on that map of consciousness, okay? And joy vibrating at a higher frequency than love. The God view is 1, okay? There's only one thing going on. Everyone and everything is that. The life view is complete or wholeness, which is something we talk about here. The emotion is serenity, peace, calm, right? And the process is revelation. So there's this enormous capacity for affirmation, for discovery, for compassion, and for peace, part of the emotion. And so I was looking at this and thinking, oh man, okay, so more joy. I want more joy in my life. I want to do more stuff that is going to bring me joy, and I want to celebrate the joy that is in my life already. And I was remembering that the very thing that I listened to this morning about positive intelligence, which is all about moving from this part of the brain, which is the saboteur area, to this part of the brain, which is the sage portion, which allows us to be present and clear-minded and focused. They say use joy as a tool to get from here to here. Because sometimes it's not just about stopping irritable, Stephanie. You need to have something to remind you to shift completely, like these silly little videos that, I watch every now and then that kind of make me happy and activate the joy that's already within me. And so in positive intelligence, there's this tool to move from here to here. And in this Relaxed Money program with the nervous system regulation, they also talk about celebrating and using joy as a tool to anchor in something that you want your body to remember and to recognize that, hey, this is a really good thing. Remember this in the body for the next time that you're experiencing this or you need to experience this. This is going to be an incredible, amazing tool for you to move forward through the tougher times. So I was taking a little tally of joy over the last few days. So we finished our Monday night class, so no more Monday night class, yay. I'm marveling at the impact of Saturday's forgiveness class. Our last class of this 8-week course is happening this Saturday, and it's kind of a bittersweet thing because it means we're not going to be getting together in that group anymore. But to see the evolution of everyone, their relationships they have been working on, the healing that has taken place is absolutely extraordinary. The support in that circle, all of this is part of community building, which is just so beautiful and brings me, as the facilitator and as the spiritual director, so much joy. Our friends are writing their practitioner exam right now, and we know they're going to ace it. This class that I'm in with, I'm looking at Stephanie, with Brenda on Thursday nights is really opening me up to discovering some really, really neat stuff about my lineage with my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and money, and now food, which is interesting. And today, I got this amazing email from Denise, who just last week decided to volunteer to do some gardening out front to have a little garden that is more purposeful and intentional. And then John ended up helping her and got rid of this diseased yucca plant that was like taking up a bunch of room. And so now I really invite everyone to go and take a look as you walk out today at what has happened at the front there, because it's beautiful. Thank you. People just I love to garden. Can I do? Yes, please. So this is more community building right here, right? So thank you, you guys. And then one of my absolute favorite things that is a must for me every single summer is listening to and reading Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. And so this is, I guess, maybe the 9th or 10th summer that I've been doing that. And every summer, like 1 to 3 times, I go through that book. I just finished it. I think it took me maybe 3 days to listen to it this time. And I just love that book. There are so many insights. There is so much wisdom. There is so much beauty in that book. And every time, even though I have my favorite bits that come up, and especially when I'm listening to the Jeremy Irons Audible book, I'm like, oh my God, here it comes, here it comes. Every single time I discover something new, I've read it so many times, and I'm like, where did that come in, right? Which is just a reminder that every single moment is a brand new now moment, if we let it be, right? Every single moment, we are brand new if we allow ourselves to be. And every single moment, we can choose joy. So the title of my talk today is Choose Consciously, Choose Joy. Okay? Because when we choose more joy, then we are vibrating at a frequency higher than love, right? And not just the feeling love, the love that we truly are. So we get to amplify that love more fully with more intention for ourselves, each other, and our world. And so to finish off, what I want to do is I actually want to show you this little video, okay? Watch this little dynamo. this little girl from 3 years old is being invited to affirm how powerful she is, how amazing she is, how capable she is, not just for herself, but for everyone. So that essentially is it. Choose consciously, choose joy, and so it is.